Okay, so let's start the resources for reading with some resources which feature articles with vocabulary support. And the first website I want to introduce is Polyglots. It's a Japanese site which recently launched and has already become very popular. And also another one called Study Now, which again has recently launched and is Japanese. So there's a lot of language support for you in Japanese. And both sites are kind of similar. They have iPhone apps as well as a website. And it's really the apps I'm going to focus on because I think that's how most people will be using them. Let's take a look at Polyglots first. And it has a lot of information actually. You can read articles, you can choose articles to read from a list of different categories or topics. And when you choose an article, you can set a reading speed. So the number of words per minute, you can go slower, it scrolls slower or faster. And it has a lot of options too for checking the meaning of words. So for example, if you select a certain word like knowledge, you can find the dictionary definition. You can also save that word to the app and then review it later. And it just has a lot of support for reading basically. And interesting articles from all different kind of publications, different kinds of publications. It also enables you to look at vocabulary lists, and it has sort of activities based around new words that you want to learn. So it's really quite a complete kind of language learning system, I guess, in terms of reading and vocabulary, where you can pick up some new words from the news. And you can do some regular reading and improve your reading speed and your vocabulary. Moving across to Study Now, it's kind of similar in that it has articles, recent articles from the press. You can read those in English, and you also have a Japanese translation, which obviously is helpful, as well as the vocabulary support for certain words. In addition, there are things like language notes and study points to help you understand better some of the structures or phrases that are used. And there's just generally a lot of information that's given for each text. So again, this should be helpful for your understanding of the text. Okay, so that's Study Now. Also some videos at the end as well for listening to. And I think, both Study Now and Polyglots look to be really useful resources. And they're already quite popular, and they may be useful for your reading practice too. Okay, so this is another site called Bleabla, I think. And it has audio,
The OK Plateau is that
as
place
well
we all
as
get to
the
where we
short
just
reading
stop getting
texts.
better at
You
something.
can
Take
get language
typing, for
support. I think
example.
it's via Google
You might
Translate,
type
so
and type and
it's not
type
always
all day
perfect, but
long,
it does
but
give you some
once you
vocabulary
reach a
support.
certain level, you
And there's lots
just
of little
won't
short
get
texts. People
appreciably
have recorded
faster.
their voice as well
That's
reading
because it's
them.
become automatic.
There's a lot of good vocabulary there, and lots of different sort of short text that you might like to check. Also, there's Extensive Reading Central, which is another website. I think it's by the same people who did English Central for listening. And this is kind of similar. It's got lots of short here reading texts for you to explore. And you can also time how long it takes you to read a text and start sort of tracking your words per minute, which is useful if you're doing timed reading exercises or you're preparing for the TOEIC test. So, this could be useful for you for that purpose. So that's Extensive Reading Central. And it has other texts too, all different topics. And you can hear again, there's some listening here as well,
Devin, I hear
where
that
people have
you
recorded
took the train
conversations
across
or
Russia.
they've recorded their
Yes,
voices.
I
So in
started in
addition
Moscow.
to reading, it could also help you with listening too. Finally, I want to mention one more site, which is called NewsSmart. This site is actually, I think it's in development now. It's being tested. So it's not maybe available for signing up just now, but very soon you'll be able to access it. And it's really quite good. It has a lot of articles from some of the
Antitrust.
top publications like the Wall Street Journal, and it has a lot of language support. Again, you can select words and you can save them. It also has reading comprehension questions, which help you with the sort of strategies for reading as well. And there are things like quizzes. It helps you to develop kind of sentence patterns, and definitions for different words and phrases. And it's just generally, it looks like it's going to be a very good resource. There are even, things like badges that you pick up along the way. So there's a kind of game or competitive element to it. And it's been well designed, and it's easy to kind of understand, although obviously it's all in English. But as you start to read at a higher level, I think something like this may be good for you too.